All right, I get it. You show a lot of cool stuff, but what does it actually cost? That's the number one question we get, and today we're gonna answer it. I got a $5 million home behind me that's fully automated. Let's go check it out. We're gonna start on the exterior of the home. Home automation, it's about putting everything together in one platform and making it easy to use. From access control to security, we're gonna discuss it all today and what it actually costs. Starting here with this deadbolt, this door lock. When it comes to integration of door locks, they can range anywhere between $200 to $1,000. This specific one, it's $400 door lock. It has integration with Control4 to give you access to give anyone you want a code, to change the codes, to keep up with the scheduling, all from the app on the phone. From there, let's talk about actual intercom and communication. This is the DS2 door station by Control4. This one here is actually $1,800. Keep in mind that there's different options for this specific piece of equipment. You got the DS2 Mini with just this part here. You got the DS2 with the actual touch panels and keypads. All of this right here, this can be switched out for different options. They have touchscreen options, they have keypad options, different colors, different styles. If I give you two ranges, the top half, just this alone, it's gonna cost about $1,200. The entire piece, it's $1,800. All of this is MSRP. This is not installed and programmed. This is just the piece of equipment. It does have different colors and different designs, but that gives you a good idea of where the door station is going to range. Before we go into the house, let's talk about security. What is it worth to you? When it comes to the piece of equipment, IP cameras are going to range anywhere between $100 to $1,000 on the residential side. There is more expensive. You can spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on a PTZ camera. But let's talk about the ones that are installed here. These are 4 megapixel IP cameras with day and night color vision. These cameras are gonna give you the option for you to access them remotely. They have great vision at night. They have a little light on them that's gonna light up the area to give you color day and night. When it comes to upgradable options, you got 8 megapixel, you got 12 megapixel, you got 4K. So these cameras are $269, our number one selling camera. There's 8 in the perimeter of this house. But let's talk about upgradable options. How much can I spend on the camera? To go fully integrated with some of the Control4 recommended cameras that actually give you the option to play back through the actual Control4, those are gonna start in the $500 range. And technically, you just multiply that by the amount of cameras that you have throughout the house. I'm sweating, it's getting hot out here. Let's go in the AC and see what's inside. All right, it's a lot cooler in here, so now we can actually talk. Let's talk about entertaining. The room behind me is the dining room. As you can see, there's a pair of speakers in the ceiling. When it comes to home audio, you can approach it a bunch of different ways, but when it comes to cost, it's really going to matter what you want to invest into your audio system. Per speaker scenario, they can range anywhere in the $100 to $1,000 for architectural in-ceiling speakers. The ones above me are actually the CS series by Klipsch. These speakers here are about $120. These are entry-level home audio speakers. We tried to keep the budget in the mid-range for this house. We do have some upgraded options over there, but when it comes to audio, it's really what you want to invest into it. Level 1 speaker, about $100 a speaker. More upgradable, great speakers, about $200 to $300 a speaker. That is going to be a good range with most manufacturers to give you the quality, the power handling that you need from a reputable brand. Let's keep checking it out. All right, so we've made it into the game room. Let's keep entertaining. When it comes to TV, you can spend whatever you want on a television. This is an 85-inch TV by Samsung. This specific TV is $1,300, but keep in mind when it comes to TV, you can invest whatever you want. This same 85-inch TV, or another TV, sorry, not the same, but another 85-inch TV can range you $10,000. What affects it? What makes the difference? The picture quality, the aspect ratio, the resolution, the motion flow, endless things. But when it comes to television, the actual display, invest whatever you want. This one is $1,300. Now, the pieces that are behind it is what's going to drive the cost in a home automation system. There's a baling behind that piece of TV that's running to downstairs to send video up here. That is $1,000 Bailiff because it has 4K, it has Ethernet, it has ARC, it has a lot of options. That specific piece of equipment, there is more affordable options in the $300 to $400 range, but those are gonna have less features, less resolution, less distance. Audio, we have a 5.1 in here. This is one of those rooms where you want to do upgradable options. The speakers are not installed in this household, but these speakers, usually you're gonna do a level 2 or a level 3. You do need 5 of them to make a 5.1. And if you do $300 speakers, you're gonna be in the $1,500 range for the speakers. Now keep in mind that to the speakers, you gotta plug in a receiver. That piece of equipment is going to vary on the type of speakers and channels and resolutions that you need. Majority of AVRs on the entry level, a 7.1 is gonna cost you $600 to $800. The Denons that we have in this house are the Denon 1800 that are actually $749. But control, in this specific room, we're talking about control. The T4 touchscreen. These touchscreens come in 2 sizes. The 8-inch are actually going to be $1,300. The 10-inch are gonna be $1,600. From here, you can control everything in the house, from your TVs, to your lights, to your thermostats, to the cameras, to the intercom. Everything is integratable into this piece of equipment. Let's keep talking about the things that this can control. If you zoom in over here, and we go into lighting, let's talk about that. So from that touchscreen, you're gonna be able to control these. These are the wireless switches by Control4. When it comes to lighting, they are going to range anywhere between $100 for the essential lineup to $300 on the actual dimmer keypads. I don't want to go too much into detail on these because it does affect the type of fixtures you're going to have, the wattage, the color, the style. But when it comes to lighting, to give you 2 switches, this one right here is going to be the essential lineup. That's about $100 a switch. When it comes to the Gen 3, the adaptive phase dimmers that are powering majority of this house are going to be about $200 a switch. And then the keypads are about $300 a switch. So let's demo these switches. As you can see, all of the lights are on because these actual buttons are linked to another switch in the house. Each button is integrated with a specific load in this room. As we flip the camera around and I'll start pressing buttons, you'll start seeing that every button that I press, a different light actually turns on. These buttons are on both sides of the room. Right now, since this is a demo home, we have it linked up to a button per load, but do keep in mind that these can actually be set up as custom buttons. And then, for example, in this specific room, we do have an all on and all off. And when you press that, every single load, as you just saw, is going to turn off. So here we find ourselves with another T4. This is the 10-inch. The one upstairs is an 8-inch. This one is a 10-inch. As I mentioned, 8 inches are roughly $1,300. These are gonna get closer to the $1,700 range. They're actually $1,695. This touchscreen is going to give you the option to control everything in the entire house. But one of the things that I wanted to focus on is the actual lighting side of things. We do have a room called lighting where I'll be able to see every single light in the house and the status. As you can see, these that have sliders are dimmers. Anything that just has an on and off, it's a switch. One of the things with lighting is you don't want to come into a room and start pressing touchscreen buttons in order for that light and that light and that light to come on. Originally, when we set up a system, we create certain scenes, but certain scenes only can be built around the customer's lifestyle, and Control4 gives you the option to do it from this touchscreen. If you come over here, there's a button that says Scenes and it has a little plus sign on this corner. When I press this plus sign, it's going to give me the option to capture the current scene, which means memorize the status of every single light in the room or in the house right now and create a scene, or create a new scene. In this scenario, we're going to create a new scene. This is going to give me the option to select the rooms that we want to control. So in this scenario, let's select the kitchen and the living room. From there, it's going to give me the option to select which actual fixtures are going to be integrated in this scene. In this scenario, let's select them all. From there, it's going to give us the option to select the actual brightness of the lights and at what status we want to activate it. Other features about this T4, and we're gonna spend some time here because I want you to see the value of this piece of equipment. This is an entertaining area. So the audio for each room can be controlled from here. The security can be viewed from here. So we can lock the door, we can view the cameras. We do have live view from the cameras in the system and the DS2 door station. Another thing to keep in mind is that these touchscreens actually work as an intercom. So if I click on the intercom, I have the option, somebody's coming in, to communicate back and forth with them at the door. That is the T4 from Control4. Now that you've seen everything that it can do, let's go check out the components that make all of this happen. Let's go to the rack. Boom, this is the rack. Now, please keep in mind, before I continue showing you this, this is a demo home. Believe it or not, this home is actually on the market and the builder included everything that I'm showing you with the home. So there is a lot of space for future add-ons, but what has been installed? At the top, we're always gonna do our networking. You need a modem and a router to get the system up and running. In this scenario, we actually using the router from Xfinity to feed the network switch. When it comes to a router, routers can range anywhere between $300 to $600 depending on the type of network and infrastructure that you want to build. From there, you're going to go into your switches. This specific switch, it's a PoE switch. This is a non-managed 8-port switch. This is a $700 switch. Whenever it comes to security, in this scenario, we're using LTS security. This is an 8-channel IP NVR. Keep in mind that when it comes to cameras, there is different options and not everything is going to integrate the same. I'm going to make a pause here to share the difference in between going with a standard IP system or some of the recommended camera systems by Control4. Biggest thing is going to be full integration. As you notice on that T4, with this specific NVR, I can see the live view from the cameras, which means I can see everything that is going on right now. However, when it comes to the playback option, I can't do that with this specific NVR. There's certain cameras or certain systems that are recommended to use when you're trying to use the playback. So that is one thing to consider. Those systems, they do have different firmware, different software. So those are going to be more, those NVR compared to this one are going to start in the $1,200 to $2,000 range. As we continue with power management, this is just a surge protector. This is just to protect the equipment. It is not IP powered or single controlled. So this one is just meant to give us more plugs and protect the equipment. These can range anywhere between $100 to $250 depending on the brand. But when it comes to IP management and actually surge protectors and stuff like that, those can get in the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 range, especially if you're adding UPS, which is battery backups, to keep your network and cameras running. If your system goes down, those can be more expensive. From there, we're gonna go into the control. This is actually the Control4 Core 3 that it's running the entire project. This is a medium-sized controller. These controllers, depending on the size of the project, you have a Core 3, a Core 3, and a Core 5. Depending on the size of the project is the recommended processor for it. This specific processor, it is $1,600 for the Core 3. The Core 5 is going to be in the $2,700 range. Going into the actual audio matrix, this is an 8-zone audio matrix that is powering all of the home audio for the house. This is a stereo amplifier, so it's not running the surround sounds. This is only for the stereo zones. Keep in mind that we have more pre-wiring locations that actual speakers that are installed in this house. But this piece of equipment here is $1,700 and it's going to allow you to power the system and also matrix the sources. We can feed up to 8 sources to this matrix and mix and match between all of the areas in the house. From there, we have the actual rack. Keep in mind that when it comes to rack, not all racks are built the same. Yes, to some it's a piece of metal, but these racks, this size rack can range anywhere between $400 to $4,000. What makes it different? The bolting pattern, the size, the attachment, what comes off, what doesn't come off. Does it come with a cooling fan? What's built into it? This specific rack, this is an entry-level rack, and this rack with all of the blank plates and shelves and lace bars that we put in the rack is roughly about $1,000. We discussed everything in here. We do have a couple of things that I want to show you in the back. We did some LED work in this house. So those are actually the power modules for the LEDs that we did in the stairs, in the master, and the living room, which I'll show you those in a second. But one thing that I do want to talk about is integration with pool. When it comes to integrating certain things like your pool, your garage, your thermostats, some of that is simple programming. For example, Pentair is an integratable system. So in this scenario, we just need to have it on the network and you can add it to your system without purchasing any additional equipment. That's enough with this rack. I want to show you some of the components that make a home automation system a home automation system. Let's take a quick break and let's go check those out. All right, so let's talk about integrating things like your garage. MyQ, it's a world-known brand. There is limitations of integrated it with Control4. The MyQ driver is going to allow you to open and close it, but it's not going to give you a status of the door. What we like to do and what we recommend doing is actually installing a contact and a relay. Control4 sells a piece called Zigbee 2IO if there's no wiring in place. So by adding a Zigbee 2IO and a contact to your garage, you can integrate it into the system to see the status, open, close it, integrate it with any scenes, and it's gonna cost you roughly about $300. Let's work our way in the house because it's hot in this garage. And as we're coming into the house and it's getting cooler in here, let's talk about thermostats. Let's flip the camera this way. Boom, thermostats. Nest, Ecobee, most brands are integratable, but there is some limitations. Those thermostats can range anywhere between $149 to $400. The recommended route is to go with the Control4 Zigbee thermostats that are gonna cost you $402. This house has 4 of them, so when it comes to thermostat integration, you can account for about $400 a thermostat. From there, things that you could do like the garage is integrating your fireplaces. That piece of equipment, the Zigbee 2IO, has contact, relays, IR, and much more features. You can integrate this thermostat if there's a contact or a relay or a switch. Adding a piece of equipment like this and integrate it into the system, just like the garage, roughly is gonna cost you about $300. Now, if you can account for all this stuff in the early stages when you pre-wire, it makes it easier and sometimes more affordable. If you do have a fireplace that you want to integrate with your system and it's integratable, you can do it for about $300. All right, so this home is too beautiful to not show you the master bedroom and the master bath. There is no home automation in this room. There is a light switch on the wall, which I told you it cost about $100, and it is pre-wired for a pair of in-ceiling speakers. When it comes to speakers, an educated guess zone of audio can range anywhere between $500 to $800 for your speakers and amplification. In this master bedroom, we did install 2 of the DS in-ceiling speakers. These are upgraded speakers for better quality audio. These are $229. This is a beautiful home. And before I show you the backyard, real quick, if you do want to schedule a virtual consultation, you can click the description. It's an easy link. We can schedule a call. We'll be happy to assist you with your full home automation project, help you design it, help you with the products, whatever you need, we're here to help. Take a look at this backyard. I can't show you this beautiful home without showing you this. Okay, so I hope I answered all of your questions in regards to pricing and what it takes to automate a home. If you are wondering, this is a $5 million home that is out on the market. The builder actually invested over $50,000 worth of home automation upgrade, and it's in the market right now. The listing agent is Patricia Reed. Reach out to her. Don't know if it'll still be on the market by the time this video comes out, but if you do have any questions, please comment them below. We talked lighting, we talked video, we talked audio, we talked automation, control, touchscreen, everything we talked about it today. Like always, I appreciate you watching. Thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to look, listen, and live with Empire AV.